What's up, guys? Jedi Master Alon here. So, obviously, we got the patch notes. 11 pages. Not exactly the stuff I wanted to see. I wanted to see a lot more character modifications. We got a lot more UI bug fixes and a lot of miscellaneous blah 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 features. Okay. So, cool or not, we don't know. I mean, people are obviously very optimistic. I'm not going to be all exuberant about the added content until I see exactly what the hell it is, you know? But as far as the balance changes, that's going to be a major deal. First Order TIE Pilot, they touched on him first. 7-star allocation is going to be fixed. It's not really necessarily a nerf. And they're going to fix his multi-attack doing 3 attacks. So, not really a nerf so far. And I think they're just buying time to nerf him because I don't think they really want to. People work too hard on him. They don't want to piss people off now. You can't just make people go after him. They invest all his time and effort, and then he gets nerfed. Talia, she's going to be fixed. Her suicide is gone now. She's not going to suicide herself. She's not going to try to heal herself. She's programmed differently now. And her heal steal on her basic is double. And that's exactly what she needs. So she's going to be great for free-to-play players, especially dark side battles. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, I could honestly say she's somebody you don't really, have to ignore anymore. She's not somebody you, need to put this much into and then stop because she's not any good for anything else. She may have some viability in PvP. We'll have to see. Her speed is pretty low, and that's going to hurt her. But that's a huge buff for her as far as her viability. So, Poe, I said this before, not sure if I said it on the channel, but look, I told people, they were like, well, what if Poe gets nerfed? I said, well, based on what I've seen, even if they nerf him, he's still going to kick ass, and guess what? He still kicks ass. I mean, a lot of people say it's not enough, but here's the thing. There are some pointers. Now, if you've been following my ETH Koth advice, you're going to be so freaking happy. Because Qui-Gon Jinn, with 80 potency, could land decently on that high tenacity Poe. But now with his reduced tenacity from all levels, gear, and from abilities, and I'm not sure of his max tenacity now because they haven't really given numbers on the gear tiers, but that's going to make him so much easier to hit. If your Poe goes first, you can for sure expect that ETH Koth is going to reliably stun him because of that reduced tenacity. Also, you know that Qui-Gon Jinn is going to land. That's not a question anymore. That's going to pretty much be consistent, and that's great. Unless you get screwed on RNG, and that's exactly how it should be. Unless you get really unlucky, that should be pretty much in the bag. But here's the thing. Exposed chance reduced by 15%. Now, a lot of people aren't really understanding that. They're talking about, this is not a nerf, this is nothing, blah, 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 blah. But people did the math on Reddit, and there was a very educated post on exactly how much it's doing, and the chances of it doing less than 2 or 3 people in a 5-man, landing on them, you guys need to really comprehend and understand how much damage Exposed provides. 20% off each individual character, it is not to be trifled with. Especially, we're talking about some tanky characters, and you can just almost one-hit them now when you've got an Expose on them. That's 20% of health just procced as soon as you hit them. So you could take a weak attacker. It's a lot of extra damage on Poe. I think they referred to him as high risk, high reward. It just goes to show the CG doesn't know their game. What is high risk about Poe exactly? The 15k health? being in the upper 75% of tankiness and having the highest tenacity in the game and high risk. Where's the risk? Like, do you ever feel like you're taking a risk when you pull his taunt? That's just stupid. But if that's how they really intended him to be, then he's got a long way to drop to become. I think if anybody's high risk, high reward, Han freaking Solo. There you go. There's high risk. Risky as hell. I mean, taunting with him, it's like terrifying. You know he's going to die, but it can be very rewarding. This Jedi Knight Guardian thing, I don't want to be too, I don't want to knock it too early because it could be pretty decent. The ability block, 100% on crits, that's pretty nice, okay? Now, she's an interesting character. And as you can see here, I could have her 6 stars. And that could be pretty cool. So, yeah, I can't see the information on it right here. I would have to pull her up, and I'm sorry I didn't look. She already has kind of an ability block AoE, and then she's got an ability block critted. I'd have to see how often she crits. And then you see that her defense bonus is replaced with a heal over time. So when, below 50 health, plus 20% defense. Who cares about that? But this, 5 to 15% max health per turn, under 50%. Now, obviously, she's a little lackluster still. She's only got 3 real skills going on with her. But, let's take a look at that. Now, she's supposed to be a knight. I mean, think about it. She's supposed to be stronger than a consular, right? Well, her health is 17,400, okay? So, if you're getting... What was it? So if you're getting 15% max health off 17,000 health, what is that? That's, 2,400 HP a turn? That's sizable. That's about half of, it's exactly a Barris heal now on like level 3 or level 5 or something like that. It would be half of a Luminara heal, which is the initial burst heal. The thing about it is that, you got to consider this. And I'm not saying, I don't want to be preemptive in saying she's going to be good, but I'm also not going to say, oh, that's not enough, that's going to suck. Listen, she's going to first thing she does in PvP. AoE ability block. It does land. What's her speed? 90. Well, shit. I guess that's pretty much nail in the coffin right there. That really hurts because if she was in the 110 or something, then she'd be getting that heal pretty often. So, I'm going to say, initially it looks good on paper, but when I kind of analyze it and I think about all the factors, she's not getting a turn very often. Or she's like half of some of the fastest people in the game, so she's going half as fast. She may only get 1 turn in a PvP fight. PvE, that might be the sickest, nastiest, dirty thing in the world. But, well, that's a little disappointing. Okay? When we get to Asajj, this is really interesting because it's one of those things where you make a mistake, you take a dump when you're trying to draw a picture and you accidentally take a dump on the painting and it looks better that way. Well, they took a dump on Asajj by accident and it was better that way. I can second this. She, her strike fear, healing all allies, they should have just built that into the skill. It was a bug, but it should have been left in as it was. It wasn't. I mean, it's very rare that you get that. Think about it like this, guys. Come on, Asajj is slow as shit, Her turn only comes up once in a blue moon. She has a thing that dispels AoE, but it's not reliable. And when it does, can you really look to that skill to heal? Like, does that even freaking matter? Like it did when you healed your party, because potentially out of 5 people, somebody might need health out there. But now it's so niche, it only matters for dispelling. And most of the time I just ignore the skill anyways. I'll probably continue to do so. I mean, 20 to 40% max health, plus 3 to 9% per effect dispelled. She's not very tanky, guys, and she'll be dead before she ever gets a chance to use it. I mean, I kill her all the time before she ever has a turn. It's really easy. 86, and she's got 1,000 health. And she's level 60 on mine. 61. And she's pretty much maxed out on gear, so put that in your pipe and smoke it, because that's pretty much it for her. And look, on top of that, look at what they do. Like, really? You think I'm going to grind that for her? Jackasses. So yeah, they kind of nerfed her a nerf. They bug fixed her, but it's just one of those things where it ended up hurting her. I mean, technically it's a nerf if they fix a bug that shouldn't be happening, but it still makes her worse, then that's a nerf. You guys get all into semantics and shit, and it just kind of irritates, because, like, who gives a shit how people are describing it? The point is she's weaker. How do you want me to say it? Like, you want to draw it out for you? Come on, guys. I mean, Asajj Ventress, that's needed. We'll see how much damage. It says special ability now deals massive damage and can't be evaded when used against enemies 25% health or less. And that means it's gonna be dropping that offense up, right, on him. Like, pretty much for sure, because when you get somebody below 25%, you still couldn't be quite sure if it was gonna kill him. But if it says massive damage and it always hits against 25% or lower, well, hell, you know that this guy's going to land. He's got fair speed. I know that it goes up some. And, yeah. Offense down on a crit hit and crit chance up on a finishing blow. So, then he'll be landing offense down. Kind of underwhelming skill set. On the offense down, I found that to be less than reliable. Also, we need to check that potency, because he's got 0. I think he gets more, but it takes potency to cast that kind of shit. So it's something you need to think about. Eth Koth has that trouble against droids. That is one of his problems, is he can't actually land a defense down. That should be, like, for sure. If you made him the droid master, then it should be pretty much for sure, but it's not. It's pretty much unreliable as hell. I've seen it work. It's not like broken as hell like everybody else's skills, and I'm pretty sure potency is factoring in there. Mace Windu, heroic high pressure tank is what they're trying to create, that enemies will have to focus fire on to survive, even without a taunt, okay? So, if he's above 50% health, he does 25 to 50% more damage, and heals for 50 to 70% of damage when he's below 50% health. That's interesting, because basically that just means, like, okay, if it does as much damage as they're acting like it does, then he'll never get below 50%, because you need to murder him all the way through, because you don't want him to just heal back 20 to 50%. Now, he sounds like he'd be a lot of fun to play in PvE. All that, like tankiness, protecting himself, self-healing. It's a pretty good package now as far as PvE. It remains to be seen whether or not it'll matter in anything else. Now, what did they take away? Obviously, they have to take away heroic sacrifice. And the heroic sacrifice was ass. That made no sense. Each ally gains 30% turn meter when he's reduced to 50 and 75% turn meter the first time Mace Windu is defeated. That makes no sense. Like, that was completely thoughtless. Hey guys, let's make a tank. And then make it so if you fight him, like if you hurt him at all, he like gives buffs to his team. But like don't make it to where you have to hit him. Like a taunt or anything, because that'll be really smart. Like that doesn't make any sense. Of course nobody attacked him and he didn't do any damage anyway, so now it kind of draws people in. I'm hoping that he actually keeps Vapod and he keeps the 20% offense, 9% crit chance. For Jedi, that could make him a pretty fun leader. I'm not saying an OP leader, but that could be pretty fun and interesting, and he could be the Sidious of the Jedi side. That could be cool. Obviously, Sidious works on everybody, but, you know, this could kind of fill out a Jedi team. And that makes sense, you know, Sith, they can have, you know, Jedi fall, but they, you know, the Jedi, based off a leader, they can't just give buffs out to Sith. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah. So he's got 14,000 health. Huh. I mean, that's something. Trying to visualize how much damage that could take. Definitely takes more than a couple. I mean, either 2 or 3 attacks would it take to kill him completely. His speed is 109. It's not the dirtiest, crappiest speed in the world. It's not great either. He has 47% potency. He does remove status effects still. So, excuse me. So, and we'll see. His basic ability rework. His unique ability. Okay. So his basic is adjusted to do that much damage. His dispel has not been changed. And his unique now, this is the interesting part, has a 30 to 60% chance to expose a random enemy until the end of his turn. Okay. Okay, so he basically has to attack someone. Are they going to call it Shatterpoint? That's interesting. So, I mean, I could totally see how that kind of fits in with who he is as a character, too, not just random crap thrown on a piece of paper. You know, Mace Windu has a technique called Shatterpoint where he can see the weakness in a fight. So that exposes that's cool. You know what? I stand behind that. That's my stamp of approval. I love that. They did a great job on him. We're going to see how it works out. I would not suggest against getting him. I'm not going to say all in. I feel like that guy who talks about stocks and he's like, you need to buy this now. Like, well, don't buy it now, but don't sell it either. Okay, if you've been working on it, keep working on it, finish it out. Tell me how it does. For those of you who aren't invested, if you got something, you got free time, you got free spot there, go for it. For everybody else, we're going to have to wait and see. I'm probably going to go after him. Where's my Mace Windu? You know what? Screw it. We're going after him. We're going to start working that shit. Where's this asshole? There he is. Well, damn, we're not very far, are we? Where's his shards, guys? Okay. You know, we may have to circle back on that one. But, you know, I'm such a strong Jedi team. I really like Jedi. But I can't stop Count Dooku. I mean, he's just going to be so important as a counter Jedi. He's just very useful. His speed, he does have a stun. But you know what? That's not very hipster of me. And it seems like a lot of people are jumping on the Eth Koth bandwagon. So, damn, I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. But I do know that I am sitting all right for this Jedi patch or whatever special character. But obviously everybody I think will be able to catch up. But yeah. I definitely have enough Jedi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then potentially 6. Because Plo Koon is ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I feel like I had more. Maybe almost 7. But anyways, but at the same time, I don't know. Is it because I dogged them in my videos? They watched it and they're like, fuck Plo Koon. I mean, seriously, we keep coming back to this. Like, why does Mace Windu, like you said, 11 pages of patch notes? I'm not hating, I'm just saying, and he's not the only one. Tebow needs some fixes. Like, Pilot made a great post. He's like, hey, by the way, these guys have problems too. He mentioned Plo Koon. He's like, this guy as well. This guy too. Like, they need bug fixing. Why Mace Windu alone? And then you've already got people that pretty much have found their place, like Asajj. You fixing her does nothing. Like, you fixing Asajj does shit. Talia, good job. That was good. The Poe Dameron nerf was good. The Jedi Knight Guardian stuff, Plo Koon should be way ahead on that front, I feel like. And two, you need to fix some of these. The Ewoks aren't working properly now. My pals have been testing and they have problems. Like, his skill on his basic doesn't work. There's a couple other things. It's just goofy, So, a lot of other stuff. Nothing really I want to touch on right now because I want to wait and see how it's going. How this PvP menu is going to affect us. Well, what they're going to do, they're basically, good lord, how the mighty have fallen. Well, they're going to allow us to see people's team comps, and that's going to be pretty huge. Being able to see your enemy's team comp is going to be quite an advantage, honestly. So, also fixing the PvP to not get sniped from 11 to 2nd, 100% stand behind that. That is BS. That I absolutely agree with. That was just getting ridiculous. It's absurd. You climb all the way. I think you should have to wiggle your way up a little bit before you can just 11 to 2 somebody. That's dumb as hell. And it's happened to me, it's happened to other people, and I'm sure it's happened to the same people who they've done it. It goes back and forth. So everybody wins on that one. So I guess we can enjoy my Poe Dameron while I have him, Yeah, see, I don't like him because he procs that shit. This is gonna work out maybe good, maybe not so good. We'll see. Ouch. Never had a chance. No sound effects, and I'm not going to worry about cutting it on. Apparently they fixed the sound effects bug. That'll be kind of nice, like the one where it plays music even though it's not supposed to. My guys deserve an offense up, don't they? Boop. See, I mean, say what you want, man, but I stand behind Heath Koth. I mean, maybe he's not the best defense, the best defender that you could have, but I could also be suffering because I don't have a 7-star maxed out Poe, and that does add to the team difficulty. By making him more tanky, by making him hit a little bit harder, you may get kills that you otherwise might not. So, all in all, a lot of changes, nothing bad per se. I think the Asajj thing is the only thing I can say that, maybe they should have. It's okay to please the community. It's okay to please niche community. Like, Asajj players who really have a boner for Asajj for whatever reason, just give them their thing. Like, if you're seeing something working that they enjoy, or ask questions. Ask questions. Don't be mindless. Like, that's all I'd say is listen to the community, and if they don't like it, and a lot of them don't, just make them happy. Give it a party heel. Work it out. It will be fine. Like, you understand that you have to be debuffed for that. Do you know that some things just don't even debuff? So, you need to, there needs to be all this perfect situation to happen for you to need it anyways. That you need to be debuffed. Or in her case, I'm talking about Ackbar. In her case, you have to have somebody have a buff of some kind. And for some people, that's great. It's like, oh, they've got a poggle. Okay, but then there are other times where they won't buff at all. So it's like when you do have that, you want it to be reliable and you want it to do something. So, anyways, interesting stuff. We're going to go through Galactic War in a bit. I just wanted to touch on that. The gear stuff, like all the gear changes to make it easier and stuff, that's all great. One thing I'm kind of disappointed about is the cell screen being removed. I think that's dumb. The reason that they're removing it is because people are apparently stupid. People accidentally sell their shit. Finally, we were noticing that players were often accidentally selling items, leading to a negative experience. We realize some players sell gear and XP bots purposefully to earn credits, but we feel this is a better experience for the majority of the player base. What? So, no, the minority were the smart people. Like, people are like, why don't you sell your training droids? Yeah. Why? Because you don't need them? I'm gonna have 100 freaking million of them, dude. There's gonna be no point at all to having them. I mean, so look right there. That's like 2 days worth. That's 86,000 credits that you can augment your income with. Also, there are tons of pieces of gear that you are never going to get to use. And it's only going to get worse. You're going to get more and more and more and more and more and more stuff that's just going to fill your inventory. And now you can't make any money off it. So that was kind of fun. It was just a little something fun if you were kind of an advanced player and you inventory management, and you just go through here and you say, do I need 313 of these? Probably not. I only need 100 of them. Is it a lot? But it's fun. I mean, it's something to do. It's a little more depth in the game. Some of these things could be worth a little bit more. But as you go up to the top, if you see anything high, but it's particularly that training credit stuff. So maybe one thing is they could give you a little bit less training droids and a little bit more monies. But yeah, that was a nice way to augment my income. I can tell you I've gotten at least 500,000 from selling credits since I've been here. So it's just kind of stupid to take away that feature because people are dumb and use the sell item screen and sell an item they don't mean to. It's like you have to do a couple steps. Make a confirmation screen. Like, how hard is that? Are you sure you want to sell these items? Yes, well then you're stupid if you sold an item that you didn't want to sell. I mean, not hard. So, allies are going to now see information regarding all them. And you guys can't judge me for losses because it's not a cakewalk out here. Damage over time can kill somebody now. That's something to keep in mind. And that's pretty much you guys probably have seen some particular interesting stuff. As far as the new character, I mean, we're all under the assumption that it's going to be Yoda, right? The whole first event, players can battle to win shards for this character in their customized training battles. That sounds like Galactic War. Customized means customized for you. Different from what I may have, different from what somebody else may have. It's going to take skills. What's the team comp there? I think that it would have been a little better to add 2 characters, Palpatine and Yoda at the same time, and just like the game's always been, like giving Android dark side and giving iOS light side, give players the choice of whether they want this character or that character. Don't give them both. And don't let everybody have Yoda. Make some people choose Yoda, some people choose this one. Make us choose light or dark side. I think it's a missed opportunity because all of us having the same thing, that means jack of shit to anybody. That's the part of the game. Now we're basically all grinding towards the same character. Win or lose, good or bad. And that's what I would like to get away from. I mean, just look. I mean, you see? Whatever Scythus picks, everybody else picks too. If Scythus says, go this, go that. Look, I'm the only one. Doc Holliday, way to go, bro. But look at it. C-Dex, way to be a believer. It's kind of funny to me. Some guys, they ask, what do I do here? And then I say, what do you think of this? And then I tell them, well, it sucks. And then they're like, no, it's not. Or I tell them, the Han thing. It's like, dude, he pretty much is because you have something to compare him to. So, I'm just saying, that from my perspective, I wouldn't lie to you. I can make mistakes. I'm not infallible. But for the most part, I'm telling you guys the truth. If I see something, this ETH thing is going to end up paying off in the end, I'm telling you. And the Poe Dameron thing, if you continue to invest it, like I said, it's fine, go for this. It's good to go. So, anyways, we'll be following up a little bit here, and we'll see how things go. So, we'll check you later, y'all.